elections held. Tribal divisions and different political ideologies could hamper progress. The Sudan People's Liberation Movement, or SPLM, is the ruling party here. Some feel the SPLM is too powerful.
No new country succeeds when it is being led by only one political party. There will be a lot of problems because one political party cannot be able to put the new country on its shadow, and they said we are going to do it. For the last 6 years, the present SPLM failed completely. There was a lot of corruption, there was a lot of tribalism, no delivery of service to the people.
Other outstanding issues to resolve include the contested region of IBA, border demarcation, and oil sharing. People here have high expectations. Access to water, education, and healthcare are just some of the priorities. Managing such high expectations is a mammoth task. Harun Mutasa, Al Jazeera, Juba, Southern Sudan.
Part of Côte d'Ivoire's Treasury building in the capital, Abidjan, has been destroyed by fire. The blaze engulfed 3 floors before it was put out. Officials say no one was injured and damage to the documentation was minimal. The West African nation has been in political deadlock since November's disputed presidential election. Dramatic CCTV footage from Turkey has captured the exact moment when a city bus crashed into a truck. These pictures, taken from inside the bus, show passengers in the run-up to the incident in Isparta province. After hitting the lorry, the bus careered into a road sign and 18 people were injured. A lawyer for the former Liberian President Charles Taylor has stormed out of his UN War Crimes Tribunal. Courtney Griffiths left the proceedings at The Hague. That's after the judges refused to accept a last-minute document. Nadim Baba has more.
Just the latest row at the Special Court for Sierra Leone. Judges did not allow lawyers for Charles Taylor to submit a final document because they'd missed a January deadline. The defence called it a farce before walking out.
We do not feel that it could be appropriate for us to take part in the oral presentation when a majority of you have refused to accept our written submissions.
If Mr. Taylor thinks he can make orders or disobey orders of this court at his will, simply on the basis that it's in his best interest to do so, then he's running this court, not us.
The former president of Liberia faces 11 charges, including terrorism, murder, rape and the maiming of thousands of people. The prosecution says Charles Taylor funded and armed fighters over the border in Sierra Leone. In return, he allegedly received so-called blood diamonds. After fleeing to Nigeria, Taylor was arrested in 2006. His trial started the following year. The defense team now want more time to respond to a cable recently released by WikiLeaks. In it, the US ambassador to Liberia warns that if Taylor's allowed to return to the region, it could, quote, tip the balance in a fragile peace.
Because that WikiLeaks cable says, in effect, Taylor has to be convicted, he has to be given a long sentence, and if he isn't, the US government should be taking steps to ensure that they can put him on trial in the United States in order to keep him out of West Africa. What were we supposed to do when we saw that?
The verdict's due later this year, and under a previous agreement, if Taylor receives a prison sentence, he's expected to be jailed in Britain. Nadim Baba, Al Jazeera.
Now to a British court, and the hearing on Sweden's request to extradite WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange will resume on Friday. Assange appeared for a second day to have the move against him thrown out. He's wanted for questioning in Sweden over allegations of sexual assault. Prosecutors in Italy have announced that they're seeking an immediate trial for Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi. It's part of an investigation into claims he had sexual relations with an underage girl. Milan prosecutors accuse him of paying for sex with a number of young women, including a 17-year-old Moroccan dancer. Berlusconi denies the claims and says they're politically motivated. An iPhone application has been sanctioned by the Roman Catholic Church to encourage lapsed followers back to the faith. Pope Benedict XVI has emphasized the importance of a Christian presence in the digital world. The app guides Catholics through the act of confession, which involves admitting sins to a priest, usually in a church. It's thought to be the first application to be approved by a church authority. Let's return to our top story now. And one issue fueling Egypt's unrest is poverty, but some say they're being plunged deeper into the red as the rallies continue. Hard-hit fishermen and small business owners are calling for a return to normality. Emike Amulu reports.
Making money from these waters hasn't been easy lately. Alexandria is famous for its fishing. The industry is a lifeline for many. But even before January 25th, business here was dwindling. Now fishermen out on the daily catch, a tradition unbroken for generations, say things have gone from bad to worse.
We are suffering. All the people are suffering. Everybody's livelihood was stopped. We are sitting and not doing anything.
We want to have a good salary for these poor fishermen and to live and work. That's all we want. We want nothing else. We just want to feed our children. We have nothing to do with politics.
This group feels it's on the receiving end of protests taking place just a short distance from here. It says with all the disruption, with so many people out of work, their usual buyers are opting for cheaper food. And it's been like this for 2 weeks. Alexandria's fishermen aren't the only ones who want things to get back to normal. 2 weeks ago, these narrow streets in Giza just outside Cairo were bustling. Tourists on camels, souvenir shops heaving with customers. But the tourists have left in their droves. The few that remain can see Giza's main attractions, but through a fence. The pyramids, open for centuries, are now closed for business. For each day the protests continue, Egypt is losing millions of dollars. In downtown Cairo, many shops remain shut. Owners are desperate to go back to work.
These people aren't thinking straight. They think they aren't harming anyone staying there, but they're harming someone like me, and they're harming so many others.
Cairo shop owners like Alexandria's fishermen know they have another quiet day ahead on Wednesday, but hope protesters soon run out of steam. Emike Omolu, Al Jazeera.
Well, one person made a particularly emotional appearance in Cairo's Liberation Square on Tuesday. Wa'el Ghanem claims to have started the pro-democracy movement. And coming up, we'll have a full report on his reception. Plus, tension remains high along part of the Thai-Cambodia border. Troops from both nations continue their standoff over disputed territory. That's also coming up.
Taken stolen goods and he's now dumping them onto the world without any sort of consideration for consequences.
From people making the news.
If the North will be saved a lot of trouble, I think it is important that they should come together.
To those it affects.
We do accept that there was very bad mistakes made in our banking area.
Behind the headlines.
Most South Koreans are not interested in reunification.
Is the inside story. At this time on Al Jazeera.
Afghanistan is faced with a huge challenge.
Relations have gone really sour between us and our allies.
We have inflicted considerable damage on the enemy.
The people who make international headlines.
Ultimately, the truth will out.
They want to stop this publication of information that embarrasses them.
Make time for Sir David Frost. Frost over the world. On Al Jazeera.
The top stories on Al Jazeera. The lawyer for Liberia's former president Charles Taylor has stormed out of the UN War Crimes Tribunal. Courtney Griffiths left the proceedings in The Hague after judges refused to accept a last-minute document. Pro-democracy protests in Egypt pull in the biggest crowds yet in Cairo's Liberation Square. They still want President Hosni Mubarak to go, despite the government's promise of constitutional reforms. But the vice president has warned the demonstrations cannot be allowed to continue for a long time. And the French Prime Minister has admitted that Mubarak paid for him and his family to go on holiday in Egypt over the new year. François Fillon was also provided with a plane to go sightseeing. Well, a man who's played a crucial role in the pro-democracy movement in Egypt joined the protesters in Cairo's Liberation Square on Tuesday. Online activist Wael Ghonaim was arrested last week and released on Monday. Shireen Tadros reports.
He was instrumental in driving this uprising. Now Wael Ghonaim, released from his 2-week detention, is joining what he helped create, a massive force for change in the heart of Liberation Square.
As long as you are standing here, you are a hero. You are the heroes.
In an interview following his release, Wael broke down as he saw for the first